Before kids go back to the classroom, we want to make sure their eye health is checked so they have a successful school year. We have Dr. Ronald L. president of the AOA, here to chat all about it. Thank you so much for your time today.
Thanks for having me this morning, Rudy.
I mean, since the beginning of the pandemic, kids are using electronic devices even more so and at a younger age. Talk to a little bit about how that's affecting their eye health.
Well, for school-age children, we have estimates that kids are on these digital devices 6 to 9 hours a day. That's a lot of visual fatigue for them. And for the younger kids, they're on there almost as much just at home. Practicing good visual hygiene with those digital devices is extremely important. Visual hygiene, things like looking away every 20 minutes at something 20 feet away for 20 seconds to let those focusing muscles reset, not staring at that screen for hours at end. As a parent, it's hard to avoid the use of those digital devices, but we also encourage parents to put the device down and get their kids outside. We have recent studies that say outdoor activity, 2 hours plus a day, can reduce the incidence of myopia. So helping students understand the limitations of their visual system and getting off those devices is important.
Something that I do is, and I'm not sure if it's helpful at all, but I turn off the blue light on the devices. Does that help as far as maybe if they're on it for a longer period of time?
There are a lot of studies out there about blue light right now, and at best they're inconclusive as to whether that creates damage or not. Personally, and from my practice, we encourage blue light filters. It helps with the fatigue factor more than anything.
As far as, let's just say it's a rainy day camp is out, we're waiting for school to start, parents are busy, what should they be doing as far as like making sure that, if the kid wants to be on a device, but maybe stopping after 30 minutes or 20 minutes at a time, like what should be like the time limit as far as like, okay, you got to stop if we have to do something else?
Just breaking up the day so that they're not constantly doing the same activity over and over again. 30 to 45 minutes, there's not going to be any harm there, but practicing that hygiene every 20 minutes, taking a quick visual break and looking far away, letting those eye muscles refocus and reset. That's what we would encourage.
What does an eye exam look like for a kid and maybe a toddler versus maybe something that they might get at school?
Well, school screenings will help detect visual acuity problems at the distance with one eye at a time. A comprehensive visual eye exam with a doctor of optometry not only will help detect up to 270 diseases in the eye, but more importantly, from a visual function in the classroom, it helps us look at the teaming skills, the binocularity skills, the focusing problems, all of those factors that would increase learning. We do know that about 80% of learning is done through the visual system, so anything that impedes that visual system is going to impede learning. We want your children to succeed in school, so get them in for their annual eye exam.
How early should kids be going for an annual eye exam?
Between the ages of 3 and 5, every child should be seen. Babies should be seen between the ages of 6 and 12 for a baseline exam. But once they start school, they should be seen on a yearly basis. Not only do our children grow, but they change, and their visual system changes too.
Because you can have a kindergartner or a first grader who can tell you, I can't see, or the words look blurry, but maybe a 3 or 4-year-old may not be able to communicate that to you. So I think, going to the doctor is going to be the best way to analyze that, because a 3-year-old's not going to tell you that there's any type of an issue.
Absolutely. And in the classroom, undetected vision problems can affect visual performance. They can slow down social interactions. They can create self-esteem problems. They can impede athletic engagement. We don't want any of those factors inhibiting a child's success in the classroom. So again, we recommend getting into your doctor of optometry for that in-person comprehensive exam.
Sometimes there could be shame attached to this, and maybe a child is not going to go to their parent to say, I'm having trouble seeing, or I'm having trouble reading the words, or, just kind of maybe let it go. I think there's a lot of times that, kids end up doing that for other things, but what's maybe a conversation that parents could have with their kids, or something that they could check in to make sure there's not an issue, an underlying issue going on that they're not sharing?
It's hard for children to express what they don't know. And vision disorders are one of those things where children don't know what normal versus non-normal is. And they're often afraid to say that. Like you said, they're afraid to tell you there may be something wrong. Getting that child into a doctor of optometry is vitally important to help them succeed. Have the doctor who's trained in determining those factors help the child understand where their problems really are.
Another question is that sometimes going outside without sunglasses, the sun is super bright if the kids are playing out there. Does that have an effect on their eyes as well too?
Every person's different. Some people are very light sensitive, others are not. But if your child's going to be spending a lot of time outdoor, having proper sun protection to help with the ultraviolet light is important for your child.
And then a final thing, a lot of times I see it kids from age 2 to age 17, when you go out to a restaurant on, let's just say on a Friday night with the family, the parents, if they've had a long week, they want to sit there and enjoy their meal. And you see every kid on a device. Is that hour and a half, for them to be on a device, okay, but maybe you limit it earlier in the day to say, hey, we're going to go out. We know that the kid's going to be on the device. Let's limit it during the day, or should they find something to break up during that time?
That's a tough one. I'm not going to tell any parent what to do or not to do with their child, but the more that you can limit that device use to certain times of the day and practicing that good visual hygiene is important. Every 20 minutes, looking away at something 20 feet away, getting off the device now and then, getting your child outdoors, all of those things are important for normal childhood development.
Dr. Benner, thank you so much for your time today. Go ahead and head over to the AOA's website, aoa.org. To find your local eye doctor, to go ahead and make those appointments, because we want your children to have a successful school year. And thank you so much for your time today.